So Anthony, I appreciate you coming on the show. I really do.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Gosh, I mean, I feel like I've known you forever, but
yeah, it's been 5 years.
Has it been 5 years? I was wondering how long it had been. At least 4, 5.
5 years. We came here in July.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so almost exactly 5 years. So a month away.
July will be 5 years.
That's outstanding. So a couple of things. I mean, we were talking about a little bit before we started filming. But how did you pick Rocky Mounts? And then the other piece of that is, I want to talk a little bit about your business and the ideas you have.
Okay. Well, we came here. Dr. Lisa Nelson was a customer. Her daughter was going to school in New York City.
Okay.
And she used to come down to the store in Brooklyn. And she was saying, basically Rocky Mountains is slowly growing. There's some buildings available.
Right.
Small town. Come try it out.
Yeah.
And we said no.
Okay.
When COVID happened, we said yes.
Well.
So.
Yeah, I get it.
It kind of worked out. We didn't want to go too far in the South. My family from South Carolina. So Rocky Mount was a great, a midway point.
Yeah.
Between Florida and New York City. And it's a little town.
Yeah.
Live in the city, you need to kind of consolidate your mind a little bit and come to a small place. So that was one of the pluses of coming to Rocky Mount.
Okay, great. And so you worked on your cafe, getting it open. It took a year, several years.
Unfortunately, it took about really 2.5 years.
2.5 years, yeah.
Construction and moving parts. We started in 2021. We finally opened up in 2023.
Okay.
We finally got it opened up.
Well, if folks are watching this, haven't tried it, they need to go to Kafe
Louverture.
Because, they've got the best stuff. My wife, Jennifer, has just recently got hooked on the hibiscus tea. Yes. She loves the pineapple ginger. And by the way, it's fabulous. I've kind of got on it, too. And your soup, oh, my God. That
chicken bouillon soup.
Oh, man, that is fabulous.
Yes, have all the good natural ingredients in it, all the earthy potatoes.
Yeah.
Very good for your yuca.
Yeah.
White potato, yams, so that's really good stuff for your immune system. So it's also healing food also.
Right.
That we're making.
Well, I got to tell you, I hadn't got beyond the patties. I just liked them all. They were really delicious. And so I didn't even bother to try anything else on your menu. And we had that crud, and Jennifer brought a lot of that stuff home, and my gosh, I am hooked. It's like crack cocaine, man. I don't know what you put in that stuff.
A little something. The patties are the staple.
Yeah.
The patties is the main driver of the business, but around that, we add a few things, like you said, our drinks, our biscuits, our fresh watermelon, our pink pineapple ginger, something new we're doing.
Okay.
Today we launched sour sop, which sold out today in about 3 hours. We launched that today. That sold out already. So, we're adding more drinks.
Okay.
More drinks.
Well, I got to tell you, and that little bit of ginger in there, I like that little bite at the end. I just had never considered putting that in some stuff.
But it's good for you, good for your immune. It's good for your blood system. So this is all, we're trying to bring more of natural drinks to the South.
Yeah.
And give them a healthier option of drinking different things if we can.
Well, I tell you, it's fantastic. So you started your business downtown.
We started downtown Rocky Mount,
and I appreciate the redevelopment down there. I really do. But so how has that been? It's about trying to drive customer count to a place that there isn't a lot. We've got the event center that does bring some folks down. Yeah. But so how has that been? And what would you tell the city that would make downtown businesses more successful? Because you've lived it now.
So coming from a bigger city and seeing how downtown is situated, I would believe that if they would brighten up the streets a little bit, because yes, the convention center is maintained well, but if they can go to the side streets, light the streets up a little bit, do a little bit more of, with the grass and, with the some of the streets, they're kind of like cracked up a little bit.
Okay.
I think that would enhance it a little bit, like make everything uniform where some people, I'm from the city. I walk down any block, but some people, if they go to a certain block, maybe they don't feel comfortable. So I think if we make downtown all uniform, brighten the streets up, make sure the streets are nice and cut, I think that would bring more people to walk around a little bit more.
Yeah.
A directory of the businesses at the train station, I think will work out.
And at the event center for that matter.
And at the event center.
In both places.
Directing other people to go to a few shops that's downtown Rocky Mount. There's a lot of growth that can happen for everybody beyond the event center, but they need to know that we are there.
Sure.
And everything need to be uniform downtown.
Sure. Well, I mean, I get you, and I'm with you. I hear a lot of folks talk about my office is downtown. I like it, but everybody's like, "Oh, there's so much crime downtown." So no, there's nobody down here to commit crime.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've been down there, a few incidents, but to me, it's not. I haven't seen serious crime.
I have. That's what was my point. The problem is we don't have enough people, downtown, and we need to figure out how to get more folks down here. I think, but
we need to drive more things going on downtown. More concerts, more live music. Tanika with the development center.
Sure.
She started something called First Fridays, downtown Tarboro Street. That's bringing traffic. It's kind of like a night market.
Yeah.
They do that in California a lot, where you have food and music and different vendors.
Right.
So that's a plus for downtown, which I work with Tanika to help put together downtown Rocky Mount First Fridays.
Good. Well, that's outstanding. So tell me a little bit about. We were talking a little bit, but you were hanging out in hotels, that sounds weird. You were basically out there just kind of surveying folks, informally, if you will.
So I live not too far from the hotels, and every night I go and I drive around. But I started to actually go in the hotels, talk to the managers, talk to the guests, and I'm like, why did you pick Rocky Mount?
Yeah.
The biggest thing I've heard that Rocky Mount is off 95.
Right.
I'm like, why you don't stop in Raleigh and Durham? Because there's a half an hour and half an hour out.
Right.
And then if you're going north, you have Virginia, which is the biggest state will be Richmond.
Right.
That's still a little further in.
Well, and even when you get to Richmond, because I went to school not far from there, you still have to go in town a little bit. There's not a whole lot right there at the intersection.
Yeah. You have to go in town a little bit, and then you have parking, and you have pay for meters.
Right.
It becomes more like metropolitan, where Rocky Mount, you can come in and go out.
Right.
And I think that's a plus with Rocky Mount.
Yeah.
Rocky Mount, every city has something. When you go to Wilmington, they have the beaches. They have downtown Wilmington. But what we have in Rocky Mount is that we could become a destination city for travelers that are moving up and down 95.
Okay.
A lot of people from Florida come to Rocky Mount. They said that's like a number one visitors that come to Rocky Mount are from Florida.
Okay.
Going back from Florida to Connecticut to New York City.
Okay.
Retirees, people have property. Then you have
why are they going back and forth? They're visiting family, or are they just spending the winter in Florida and coming back home?
So you have one part, which is the visitors who live in the north and they go back to Florida.
Okay.
In the winter
They're splitting
months.
seasons.
They're splitting seasons.
Got it.
Then you have travelers coming for the games.
Okay.
You have the games at the Rocky Mount Convention Center.
Sure.
That season, and then I didn't even know about this. You have the baseball games.
Yes, right. Oh, that's massive.
That's massive. And then you have different dance competition groups that are coming to Rocky Mount, which I just found out 2 weeks ago.
You're educating me on that then. I didn't know about that.
Yes, it's young dance groups. They have talent shows.
Okay.
And they come to Rocky Mount.
Okay.
So you have the baseball, the basketball, and then you have volleyball.
Okay.
Then you have, I'm just found out about that. Yeah. Rocky Mount is big for family reunions.
Okay.
People pick Rocky Mount because you have the space here. It's easy to get in and out, and all the hotels all together. They're all together.
Right.
You have 5 hotels in one side, and the other area you have 5 more hotels. So it makes sense to come to Rocky Mount, and the prices of hotels per night is pretty much affordable.
Right.
You don't have to pay for parking. Some actually towns, like Wilmington, you have to pay for parking, which is like $15 a night.
Right.
Rocky Mount, you don't have to pay for parking.
Right.
So I just think that we need more.
And the truth, in a family reunion, you're not really experiencing the town. You're experiencing the events in the
event center.
Yeah, wherever you're having that, and it's with family, and it's like we always do, right? It's just about fellowship. Yeah.
But we need to definitely, with that said, have more restaurants downtown. I know the buildings downtown, it's a lot of work. It costs us millions.
Yeah.
So much money to repair. I know they do have grants out there, but I think also having another place downtown where they can come, eat, shop, and move around, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, a cluster of restaurants make a difference, right? That's the concept of, I'm old enough to call it a food court, but I guess they call it a food hall now. But it's the same concept. If I have a bunch of restaurants clustered together, you can go do your thing, I can go do my thing, and we can all eat together and have different options, and that would draw people down.
Draw people downtown. They have Bust a Gut now, a new restaurant. They have an Indian restaurant coming. So there's a few stuff going.
Mexican restaurant, I believe, is coming down, and then a Greek restaurant, or Mediterranean anyway. Yeah.
Yes. So it's really now about connecting the travelers to Rocky Mount.
Yeah.
And all the independent businesses in Rocky Mount should be on social media, TikTok, Facebook, because I've had kids come to my store. I'm like, why did you come? They said, oh, they was on TikTok.
Okay.
So then they tell their parents.
Okay.
So we need to connect. Besides the billboards, we need to do more kind of like the independent move of social media.
Yeah.
To attract, what businesses are around town. Sometimes people coming to get their haircut. They're going to a wedding.
Right.
Also I forgot a lot of big wedding parties come to Rocky Mount also, and they need different things.
I was talking to a fellow out in Spring Hope who's got 7 sisters, I think it is. Yeah. It's a wedding venue, and he said they're booked up for 3 years. Yeah. For 3 years. I mean, that's unbelievable to me. Yeah. But so I'm just curious, when you're having these conversations, I almost envision you like with a camera, just interviewing people on the side of the road. Oh, did you ask them where they're going to go eat? How do they make a decision? If I'm staying overnight in the hotel?
So when I ask them the question of where you going to eat, they go based on what they have seen or what they have heard.
Okay.
They don't really know what's in town to eat.
Okay.
There's no like, oh, I got to go here.
Right.
So there's no connection to...
It's not like Guy Fieri's been down here to do a Triple D or something like that.
So there's no connection to what's available to eat in Rocky Mount. It's based on what the person in the lobby in the hotel have told them, or what they see.
Okay.
You see, that's what's really going on.
And that's another case for social media then, because when I go to a place I don't know anything about, I usually will. First thing I do is I Google it, right, and see what or Yelp and see what the ratings are and what's close by and all that kind of stuff.
Having your page on TripAdvisor,
right,
being on Yelp, Facebook, Instagram, all those are very key components. Anytime I post, I hashtag Rocky Mount,
right,
Rocky Mount downtown.
Right.
That's very important.
Yeah, so that when people are Googling then your stuff. So how important has that been for your restaurant?
It's social media is what's driving my business.
Yeah.
Downtown, there's no foot traffic. And even though I think about 1,000 cars pass per day, I may get two cars out of that 1,000 per day.
Okay.
So it's just people who have heard about what we're doing, they stop and they come down. So they come in from Clayton, Raleigh, Durham, Virginia. I've heard people from England who've been traveling.
Right.
I met a guy from Britain. He was traveling on Amtrak.
Right.
He's doing a tour around America.
Okay.
He decided, because when you go to Savannah, the train sometimes get delayed. So he got off the train, he waited, whatever reason, and he walked around Rocky Mount, and he found us. He was just walking around, and he decided to come to our bakery, Kafe Louverture.
Okay.
So once in a while, you get a few travelers who are going to walk around downtown.
But you're getting some real destination folks that are coming to go to your spot.
My business
downtown.
is strictly destination. It's only destination. They come into my space, and that's it. It's all destination.
Okay. Well, I'm learning, and I think that's awesome. People come from so many different places, and they're finding you on social media, word of mouth. I will personally attest to how awesome the food is, and I know it's not slaw, but I love that slaw.
The pickles,
what do you call it?
Pickles.
Pickles. Okay. Well, that stuff is fabulous. I mean, I could eat my body weight in that.
Yeah, that's very good stuff. And I even think like maybe Rocky Mount needs ambassador.
Okay.
Ambassador that drives Rocky Mount.
Right.
Even though, like I said, we have a lot of work to do at Rocky Mount, but what can we do right now until we get to that point of, we have somebody ambassador who drives Rocky Mount businesses all through Rocky Mount.
Sure.
And that's all they do. That's all they do all day long. One of the things I really want to do, I want to get a van that goes around to all the hotels and bring them to my business.
I have been singing that song for 5 years. I don't understand why there's not a connectivity from the hotels to the mill, to downtown, to the event center, because parking is an issue downtown. We don't have a lot of it.
No.
But, just to kind of keep a continuous loop, I've talked to everybody ad nauseum, and I don't really know where to get that movement going, but it just feels so logical to me.
Let me explain. when I was a kid,
Yeah.
May she rest in peace, my aunt. Every Christmas we would go to Disney World,
Right.
and we would take Amtrak from New York to Florida.
Okay.
We stayed on International Drive. There was a shuttle bus. The bus left the hotel at 9:15, 10:15. It left every hour.
You're right.
I'll never forget that shuttle bus taking me down International Drive.
Right.
And we took the 9:15 bus. I was downstairs at 8:30.
Right.
But that was a driving point. That bus was full.
Yes.
You had to get the next bus.
Yes.
So even if there's a bus that's going from hotel to hotel, just going around, I mean, the revenue that the city could bring in. Yes, we don't have everything downtown yet. Yes.
Well, not yet, but part of that's the traffic, right? Part of that is helping folks find it. So we do have 8,000 people on a good weekend at the event center. And
that's 8,000 people.
That's 8,000 people. That's a lot of people. I mean, your customer count for a really busy restaurant, it's not really much more than a couple hundred.
Yeah.
So 10% or 5%. But anyway, just to circulate around, to keep people moving, I think would really show a lot of what Rocky Mount has to offer. And if I'm out of town, I don't have to find it, right? I could just get on the bus and just get off and just try these different things.
Yeah, I think a shuttle bus, I think is very important to have those shuttle buses moving on the weekends, on Fridays and Saturdays.
Sure.
Friday, Saturdays.
Well, I think Thursday night through Sunday about noon.
Yes. And also,
Yeah, that's good.
And also, when I'm finding out, there's a lot of contractors come here. So the contractors that come to Rocky Mount, they check in on Sundays and Mondays.
Okay.
And sometimes there's 40, 50 contractors they're working at plants, they're working at the various companies here, and they've been sent here to do, could be plumbing, it could be electrical work.
Sure.
So we have a large amount of contractors that come Monday through Friday to Rocky Mount that full hotels up. They've been sent by their companies to do some kind of logistics work.
At Cunningham's or whatever.
Yes. And those guys like to go out, or women, they like to go out, have a drink and eat. But they're in a hotel sitting. They don't know where to go. There's no connection of where should I go.
Right.
So if you have a shuttle bus, you can not have to move your car. I think that's very important. I think it's critical to have a shuttle bus.
I'll bring that back up again. I've not really been trying to push it from the city's perspective. It just seems like to me that the hotels, the mill, and the event center. It doesn't feel like it would cost a lot to me to at least have a proof of concept to try that for a couple of weekends.
And it's marketing. You could have a nice bus that has the Rocky Mount restaurants or on the bus, but it's tourism.
Well, even the baseball stuff, that's picking up right now. So, I mean, they'll be going from now until January, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, bringing those folks downtown also, it helps. It helps people. That's right. Helps people find places. Maybe a park at the fields.
Yeah.
But I can go see the downtown restaurants and go to other places and still end up back where I need to be.
Yeah. Even a bus or a trolley.
Right.
Another place too is the hospitals. I learned at the hospitals that you have people that's unfortunately in the hospital, but they have family members who have come here from different states.
Sure.
And they just don't know where to go. I have had a lady who her daughter was actually having a baby. She ran out of the hospital, came and got some food on a Saturday. I'll never forget the lady. And she ran back to the hospital. She called. She said, I heard about you have some good food.
Yeah.
Her daughter was delivering.
Yeah.
She ran all the way downtown on a Saturday, got some food, and ran back. So how many people at the hotel that are visiting here to see loved ones that can be shuttled around also?
Sure.
If you're here for a weekend, what are you really doing after you visit your loved one? You at the hotel, what are you really doing?
Well, I've been a traveler, well, not so much recently, the last decade, but prior to that, I traveled a lot. And, you're sitting in a hotel room on Monday night in some market, and you are looking for something to do.
Yeah. Even just to get out and see, you can go to the parks. You can go down just to get out and see something.
That's exactly right.
Just to get yourself out of the
once you beat down your work, I mean, you're done.
What are you really doing?
That's right.
Yeah. A lot of towns have shuttle buses. They have little mopeds where you put like 6 people on. I forgot what they're called. A lot of people uses those. They have lights on them. Wilmington have those.
Like a tuk-tuk kind of thing.
Tuk-tuk. Yeah, they use those.
Yeah.
Even when you go to the Caribbean, they all have some kind of bus that go around.
Right.
So just
well, we need to probably explore that a little bit more. Then I do think that's a great idea. It's good to hear you say that you believe that would be helpful.
I think that would be helpful. When you go to Vegas, they have older cars, old Cadillacs, and they go around the town. They use older cars, and they go through the town. They take people around.
So what insight have you heard from folks who have come to Rocky Mount because it's close to the highway? What other insights have they given you about our community as you've talked to them? I'm just curious.
What I've heard is that they love coming here because it's off the highway, but they want to see more of independent restaurants, and they want more stuff to do.
Okay.
They want to have more things to do.
More engagement.
More engagement. For example, out of all the 10 hotels, True Hotel is the only hotel that has a lobby with a pool table where people hang out. That's the only hotel in Rocky Mount.
Huh.
And when the games are started, all the other hotel members come over to True Hotel.
Is that right?
Because it has a pool table and it has a hangout. It has a lounge.
Okay.
It's the only hotel that has a lounge.
Okay. So, look, I appreciate you participating. And folks who don't know, we had the Moorhead Cane class come to Rocky Mount to kind of go through a trial run. And so they're sending teams to all over the country. I mean, to San Diego, to Detroit, to other places. And they came to Rocky Mount. And what they're doing is trying to, I don't want to say solve folks' problem, but kind of listen to challenges and come up with maybe some creative solutions that they can offer up that people can take or not take. Doesn't really much matter, but it's an exercise for the kids. So thank you for being a panelist on that when they came to Rocky Mount. So what insights did those kids bring to the table that really you identified with? I mean, because it was kind of cool. I got a chance to do it too. And
it was kind of cool. Their thoughts about what Rocky Mount needs, especially downtown, disparity of different from the Edgecombe to this different communities, that if everybody can all win and come together, this is what because they don't live here, so they told me honestly. Right. So if we can, and
they're not caught up in the historical politics and any of that kind of stuff. It's fresh eyes.
So fresh eyes is that there's some disparity, but if we come together where everybody can win, the whole town can win. Edgecombe, Nash, we all come together.
Sure.
And start to build, a community, and that would be great. Fix up downtown. Maybe we can get some kind of, I'm not a banker, but maybe we can get some kind of banks or some grants where we can help start businesses. In India, they call it, I forgot what it's called, where they give you a certain amount of money to start a business.
Okay, an incubator kind of deal.
If we can do some incubator type, ideas around Rocky Mount that can help start small businesses. The potential of the destination place, it could be beyond explosive, and the revenue for the city will be unmatched.
Right.
I believe.
Yeah.
And because that's what we have to offer is a destination place. That's the main thing.
I think that's right. I do think that's right.
That's what the kids seen, and they mentioned about the trolley going through Rocky Mount and picking up people.
Well, I had heard that too, but I would love a trolley, but shoot, just give me a bus. Let's just prove the concept first, right?
Get a bus and get that started. And one of the things they've seen that was very important, like I said, they mentioned that beyond the Rocky Mountain Event Center, every block downtown should have the same landscape as the Rocky Mountain Event Center. Mm-hmm. There's some weeds growing in different, streets, and the pavement. We need to brighten up. And they want they said what they've seen is that it's not all uniform.
Right. I got you.
We need to be
which is what you were saying a little bit earlier. If we had a little more lighting on the streets, and by the way, we are working on that, believe it or not. But getting to the place that folks feel a little bit more comfortable walking around would be a big plus. Was the take home that you heard from
that was
kids.
The take home, and I'll say something very honestly. Me from Brooklyn, I'll walk anywhere.
Sure.
When they told me that, I never really thought about that. Some people, they may not feel comfortable walking down. I never really actually thought about that because from Brooklyn, we walk down any block. We walk down little alleyways in Chinatown. So, but some people have different environments they come from where they're like, I don't want to walk down here. So, they brightened up my mind a little bit and gave me thoughts that I need to take home and think about.
And I can tell you, I'm from Rocky Mountain. I am not uncomfortable going. I mean, literally anywhere in our community. I'm just not. I consider it home and. And what I found is that most people are just people, right? And if you're up to no good, usually they don't really impact everybody. That's sort of a closed circuit kind of environment that I just don't have to participate in. But I've never personally felt unsafe anywhere.
Yes, me either. Me either.
But you're a Brooklyn boy.
I'm a Brooklyn boy. I hear stories, but it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You know, the stuff happens everywhere, so I haven't been impacted, or I don't think about that. That's just my opinion. You know, stuff happens everywhere, so I don't. You know, I felt safe downtown. My staff is safe, so you know, it's you know.
All right, so we only have a little bit of time. So what I want to do is I want you to throw a commercial out for your cafe, because I've done a little bit of promotion on it, but I'm telling you, the food is outstanding.
Thank you.
Folks who don't know where you are need to know how to find you and how to get stuff, because I think it's just wow. And I think once folks try it, they're just going to get hooked. I mean, I'm telling you, what you put in that stuff, I don't know what it is.
Thank you. Thank you.
But it's delicious.
Thank you. Thank you.
So throw a little commercial out there.
So please, when you get a chance, stop by wherever you're traveling from. If you're Rocky Mount local, or if you're in town, make your way down to Rocky Mount to visit Kafe Louverture. We're at 110 Tarboro Street, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27801. We are open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We do a special on Fridays. We do the oxtail bowl, which is very famous. We do the chicken bowl on Fridays. And you must try our drinks, our black seed watermelon, our yellow watermelon, our red watermelon, our pink pineapple ginger, our soursop drink, our hibiscus drink. These are all natural drinks that are really good for you, and you need to make your way down to Kafe Louverture to experience this beautiful bowls and drinks that we're mixing up.
And I can vouch for how delicious it is. And so, look, I want to thank you for coming. It's always a delight to get a chance to talk to you. And thank you for coming by and sharing all these wonderful insights you have about operating a business downtown.
Yes. Thank you. Always appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.